Hey everyone, it's Mark. It's been a long and winding journey, but this is my last video ranking all of Ash's gym battles in every region. Thanks to your amazing support, we hit the likes goal on every single one of my videos, ranking Ash's gym battles in Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and Unova, so now all that's left is Kalos. I guess I don't really have a likes goal this time around. Like, I'm not gonna say you have to hit 450 likes for me to post my next video, but it would be nice if you did hit the like button. It's free, you know, so why not just go ahead and do it? Alright, let's shift our focus to Ash's Kalos gym battles. These were all really good. There's not a bad battle on this list in my opinion. I am curious to hear your guys' opinions though, especially because I have a feeling some of my rankings in this video are gonna be somewhat hot takes, so the debate in the comment section should be a lot of fun. I know that Green Tornado's favorite Kalos gym battle was Ash vs Olympia. Now, you may be asking, who is Green Tornado? Well, you know how at the end of videos when I put up this image to shout out my channel members? Well, I just recently added some new tiers to my channel membership setup, and because Green Tornado is the best person ever, I now have to mention them at the intro of my videos as well. If you want to get your own shoutouts in future videos along with some other perks, go ahead and click the join button and become a channel member. With that out of the way, here are all 9 of Ash's Kalos gym battles ranked from worst to best. Number 9, Ash vs Grant. So like I just said a moment ago, there are no bad gym battles in Kalos. Even though I have this one ranked in last place, I still don't really have anything negative to say about Ash vs Grant other than, well, I just didn't think it was as good as the others. The rules of the Salage gym state that while Grant can only use 2 Pokemon, the challenger is allowed to use their entire party, so this was a 3-on-2 for Ash pretty early on in his Kalos journey. Ash had actually seen Grant battle with his Onix at the Battle Chateau several episodes earlier, and he knows how much of a threat its Rock Tomb was. Because of this, he did some special training to figure out how to counter it, and the result of this was Rock Tomb Climb, which in all honesty is a pretty simple technique where they just jump off the rocks to avoid taking any damage. Froakie is able to defeat Onix straight up without much difficulty, but Grant's ace, Tyrunt, was a little tougher. After finishing off Froakie, we got probably the most pointless part of the battle where Ash sent Fletchling in. I mean, really all this section of the match did was reveal the rest of Tyrunt's moveset, but in all honesty, this gym battle could have easily been a 2v2 and it would have been just fine. Sometimes simple storytelling is more effective, and I don't think this match really needed the additional stipulation of Ash using his entire team, especially since Pikachu was able to defeat Tyrunt without too much fuss. They adapt their Rock Tomb Climb in order to counter Draco Meteor, and the ending of this match is pretty noteworthy since Ash states that he'll finish it with his favorite move, Thunderbolt. I mean, we all probably could have guessed that Thunderbolt was Ash's favorite move, but hey, this battle doesn't really have a lot of noteworthy moments in it, so I thought that was worth highlighting. Number 8, Ash vs Ramos. At the risk of repeating myself, there's nothing inherently wrong with Ash vs Ramos. In fact, I would be happy if every gym battle in the anime was this good. It's hard to go wrong with a solid 3v3, and this battle is really good, if a little unspectacular. The only real setup here came just before the gym battle when Ramos made Ash sit through tea time and help him around the garden, which will play into the battle later. Ramos used some really good strategies. I think he's arguably the easiest gym leader in the history of the games, but he comes up as a threat in the anime by the way he uses his grass types. This includes immediately setting up Sunny Day, which activates both Jumpluff and Weepinbell's Chlorophyll abilities. Speaking of Weepinbell, this thing was a beast. Along with its awesome speed, it had the devastating combo of shooting Poison Powder down to the ground, which not only allowed Weepinbell to dodge attacks, but also poison the opponent. Add on top of that its powerful Slam attack, which took down both of Ash's flying types. Ash decided to disregard type matchups for his last Pokemon, as it was Frogadier who turned out to be the MVP of this battle. Ramos wasn't the only one who had creative strategies, as Ash was able to counter Weepinbell's Poison Powder by using Frogadier's Frubbles as a mask, and eventually the climax of the battle brings it all the way back to what Ramos taught Ash before the match, which is not to be hasty and focus on what's important, which allows Frogadier to break through Go-Goat's tricks, winning Ash the battle. So yeah, another perfectly acceptable gym battle that is way more pros than cons, yet we're only at number 8 in this ranking, so that's how you know the other battles are all really good. Number 7, Ash vs Valerie. Valerie was the first ever Fairy-type gym leader, so her battle against Ash promised to be a unique one, and it certainly lived up to that expectation. This was a 2v2 match, and of course Ash used Fletchinder. If you hadn't already caught on, Ash uses Fletchinder in every Kalos gym battle except for one. Valerie's lead was Sylveon, and I guess they were supposed to be in sync because Valerie could do that thing where she talks to fairy types, which is kind of cool I guess, but I mean Sylveon did not put up much of a fight in this one. Fletchinder is able to get the KO after a Giga Impact versus Steel Wing collision following a pretty quick back and forth between the to. One of the things that sets Valerie apart from a lot of gym leaders is that her ace Pokemon in the anime is a Spritzy. Surely that's gotta be one of the least intimidating aces ever, but at least it's cool to see the anime switching up a gym leader's team a little bit. The real battle begins when Valerie sets up Trick Room, but the best part about this battle is how Ash never gets phased by this. He just stays calm and battles really well. First off, he has Fletchinder spam Flame Charge, which actually is making it slower inside Trick Room, but once it wears off, it's able to nail Spritzy with Steel Wing. Okay, nice strategy. Oh wait, Spritzy just immediately nailed it with Moonblast after that, knocking it out. Okay then. Of all the choices Ash had for his second Pokemon, on paper Hawlucha is probably the worst choice, but honestly my favorite part about this battle is that it's one of Hawlucha's shining moments. Like I said before, seeing Ash stay calm under pressure and control his Pokemon inside Trick Room was really cool to see. After seeing the effect X-Scissor had on the Trick Room itself, Ash has one of his mid-battle epiphanies, and may I present to you the Trick Room Breaker technique. By spinning and using X-Scissor, not only is Ash able to land some damage, but also destroy the Trick Room. I'm not a stickler about game logic needing to apply to the anime, so I like this inventive finish to the battle. And like I said at the start, Ash vs. Valerie was a really unique match, and I think its pros outweigh its cons. Number 6, Ash vs. Karina. Whoa, let me jump in here. I can already hear the angry comments coming. Ash vs. Karina at number 6? I mean, I know there's probably plenty of people who consider this a top 5 gym battle of all time, but for real, I don't even think it's a top 5 gym battle in Kalos. This probably sounds like a hot take, but I have my reasons. First of all, I do want to mention that the end of this battle is great. The Pikachu vs. Mega Lucario showdown is awesome, but that's just 3.5 minutes of the match, and that does not tell the whole story. This battle was set up to be amazing. I mean, Ash and Karina had way more backstory going into this match than almost any other gym battle Ash has ever had. This 3v3 battle had an entire episode's worth of screen time to work with, the tension and anticipation were high, but in my opinion, that all goes out the window as soon as the battle actually begins. Karina leads with Mienfoo while Ash chooses Hawlucha, and wait a second, what is it doing? Oh yeah, Ash thought it would be a good idea to have his Pokemon dance during this battle. After meeting Tierno at the Pokemon Summer Camp, Ash thought it would be a good idea to adapt his rhythmic battling style in order to defeat Karina, and let's see how that goes. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh man, Pikachu even knows this is hopeless and he's supposed to be keeping the beat. You guys may think I'm being hard on this battle, but seriously, just watch this.
Type move. Use rhythm. Hawlucha, no!
What? That is like Ash versus Elisa level tactics if you ask me. This was Ash Ketchum at his worst when it comes to battling. He and his Pokemon are so flustered that they're completely outmatched. What shakes Ash out of this funk was remembering how Serena told him that he has his own unique rhythm, and Ash decides to just battle his own way from now on, which Karina just laughs at, and I agree. Does Ash really think he can just change his strategy mid-battle? Oh, what's that? Hawlucha already KO'd Mienfoo that quick? Ow. Yeah, I really am not a fan of most of this gym battle. Once Ash starts trying, he takes down Karina's first 2 Pokemon with incredible ease, only for Karina's Lucario to take down Ash's first 2 Pokemon with incredible ease. Like I said before, the final showdown between Pikachu and Lucario is great. It's really solid stuff, especially if you like XY's animation style. But for me, despite the high highs of this battle, I cannot see past the low lows of Ash vs. Karina. It's just such a disappointment anytime I watch it, with the last little bit redeeming it only slightly. Number 5, Ash vs. Wulfric, their first battle. So I decided to split Ash's 2 gym battles against Wulfric into separate entries, and I think they're both top 5 worthy, even when he lost in the first match. With this being Ash's final Kalos gym badge, he was pretty fired up for this one, so fired up that he decided to act like a complete jerk to Serena before the battle, but that's more of a critique about Ash's character in XY and has nothing to do with the actual match. Let's dive into the battle then. This 3v3 started off with Wulfric choosing Abomasnow, whose Snow Warning ability made it hail for the entire match. Ash's lead was Hawlucha, and oh yeah, there was ice physics on the battlefield, not that it mattered too much though. Considering what happens in the rematch, it's kind of strange watching Hawlucha deal with Abomasnow relatively easily, but this was certainly Ash's best moment of this battle. Hawlucha uses its agility and power to get the win without much issue, but then enter Avalugg, and oh boy, this thing was a menace. Not only did it have rock solid defenses, but it was constantly recovering thanks to its Ice Body ability. Nice strategy from Wulfric, who had a really cool personality to go with his ice cold battle style. Anyways, things go south pretty quickly for Ash once Avalugg takes the field, Ash's team isn't really set up to handle a physical wall, and don't sleep on Avalug's moveset either. It's got some lethal strategies, in particular Avalanche really does a number on Ash's team, and Gyro Ball is pretty OP as well. Let's really dig into why I find this battle so interesting though. Not only is it above average in terms of action and strategy, but it's also fascinating watching Ash kind of start to lose himself while Wulfric stays calm and composed. At multiple points during this battle, we hear Ash's inner dialogue, which is mainly him yelling about getting stronger, and throughout this match he starts to battle more and more aggressively, without much thought for tactics. At this point in XY, Ash was so consumed with getting stronger, and he thought Ash-Greninja had so much potential, and he wanted to just keep getting stronger. This lust for power kind of clouds his judgment, and he pays for it. Wulfric wins this match without even needing to use his third Pokemon. I tend to rate battles lower when Ash loses because it's usually down to him acting like an idiot, or there being some kind of disconnect either tactically or in regards to power scaling. I don't think any of those things really factor into this battle. Wulfric uses fantastic strategy to win, and Ash's character flaws do lead to him losing, but we all know what happened next. Number 4, Ash vs. Viola. It was really tough for me to decide whether or not to split Ash's gym battles against Viola into 2 separate entries or keep them together, but even though I did split Wulfric's battles up, I'm just going to talk about Ash's 2 attempts at defeating Viola at the same time. They tell one cohesive story, whereas the 3 episodes surrounding Ash vs. Wulfric are all so different. Anyways, with that out of the way, Ash vs. Viola makes it so high up this list because of how well done this little mini story was. You'd think Ash and Pikachu would be strong enough to just sweep the first gym mover region on their own, but Viola was no pushover. Far from it actually, and Ash's defeat in the first battle isn't because he looked bad or did anything blatantly stupid, it was due to Viola's superior tactics. I mean, her Surskit packs a punch, which sounds like an understatement when you look at how powerful its Signal Beam is. Like, no wonder it was able to KO Pikachu. This wasn't a Pikachu versus Snivy or Pikachu versus Panpour situation. Viola was just really, really good, using Ice Beam to set up an icy battlefield on the ground and using Sticky Web to give her the aerial advantage as well. Even if Ash was able to KO Surskit eventually, Viola's ace Vivian was deceptively powerful. Ash really got shut down in this match. He got straight up outplayed, and Viola was confident she could do the same thing in the rematch. But Alexa was like, I don't know about that, and then literally just goes and trains with Ash to help him defeat her sister. Wow, talk about playing favorites. This 2-episode story was fast-paced, but executed extremely well in my opinion. Ash's training goes well, and yes, I had to choose this screenshot. What is going on with Pikachu's face? The only bad thing that happened was when Clement's Sticky Web cannon thing malfunctions and blows up, but what else were you expecting to happen? And I bet you expected Ash's rematch against Viola to be much easier, but it kinda wasn't. Surskit still took it to Pikachu. I do think it's funny how ice physics factored into this bug-type gym battle more than it did in almost all of Ash's ice-type gym battles. Fortunately for Ash, his training did end up giving him the edge after all. First, when Pikachu uses the technique of anchoring himself to the ground using his tail, and in a phenomenal moment, Ash actually takes inspiration from Clement's invention blowing up and has Pikachu use Electro Ball on himself to avoid falling asleep. That was a shocking moment, almost as shocking as the Electro Ball plus Thunderbolt combo that finally KOs Vivian to give Ash the victory. So yeah, 4th place may sound kind of high for Ash vs. Viola, but I just think everything about this battle was really well done. It made both trainers look strong, it used plenty of unique tactics and advanced battle strategy, which by now you all should know is one of my favorite things to see in Pokemon battles. Number 3, Ash vs. Clement. We're at the point in the list where I feel like any of the remaining gym battles are probably contenders for a lot of people's favorite gym battle ever, let alone favorite gym battle in the Kalos region. And while I may not love Ash vs. Clement as much as some people do, I still think it's worthy of being in the top 3 of this ranking. Whenever Ash battles against one of his traveling companions, it's always an emotionally charged matchup that almost always delivers. Honestly, one day I should just make a top 10 list of Ash's best battles against his friends, and there's no doubt that Ash vs. Clement would be on there. If I had any criticisms for this battle, it would be that while some moments, like the callback to the day Ash and Clement first met, or both trainers' internal dialogue about how much they're enjoying the match, were fun moments the first time I watched this battle, I don't know, for some reason they just don't hold up as well for me whenever I rewatch this. I also think the ending sequence between Goodra and Luxray is a little overrated. Like, basically all it is was Goodra using Bide, taking a few hits, and then absolutely annihilating Luxray. I mean, sheesh, what an impact. But all of those minor critiques are far outweighed by how good this battle actually is. I'm not going to spend the time retelling the entire story of Ash and Clement's friendship, but we're all familiar with it. And this battle is such a high point in their story. It makes the already fantastic battle action even better because there's more meaning behind every move. Clement even left the group ahead of this battle specifically to train on his own, and you can see how much it paid off. Usually I'd say Clement would be no match for Ash, but both trainers battle at a really high level throughout this one, introducing new strategies at every turn only for their opponent to counter them. So yeah, what more needs to be said? Ash vs Clement is one of the best gym battles ever, so let's move on and find out which matches I like even more. Number 2, Ash vs Olympia. Another absolutely fantastic battle. In a way, it's kind of difficult to talk about this one. Like, what is there to say? There are so many great things about Ash vs Olympia, there's no way I can name them all right now, but I guess I can try. First of all, it's a 2v2 double battle, one of my favorite battle formats in the anime, and it takes place in one of the craziest arenas ever. It doesn't actually impact the battle itself, but it looks super cool. The strategies from Olympia and her 2 Meowstic are solid, the improvisation by Ash and his Pokemon are even better, and all of this is on top of great animation, music, and pacing. Okay, let me try and criticize this battle. What were the downsides? Well, I guess Frogadier and Talonflame kinda take a lot of damage, but I mean, really 2 head-on helping hand assisted future sights should be enough to KO most Pokemon, and I don't know, Frogadier's paralysis is kind of inconsistent. I don't know, I'm grasping at straws here. There's basically nothing wrong with this match in my opinion. I'm guessing a lot of people's favorite moment is Pikachu becoming a stopwatch to counter Future Sight, and it is awesome seeing Ash's Pokemon all work together to throw both Meowstic into their own attacks. But for me, what takes the cake is the ending sequence, when Olympia's last remaining Meowstic clashes with Frogadier, who is using Water Pulse to block an incoming Psyshock. Olympia even sees Ash as a part of this attack, and wait, is that Ash-Greninja? Oh yeah, that's definitely Ash-Greninja, and man, what an awesome way to end a battle, just epic stuff. Okay, I've fanboyed about this battle long enough, and considering how much I love Ash vs Olympia, it must take something really special to outclass it and take the top spot in this ranking. Number 1, Ash vs Wulfric, the rematch. Part of the reason why I split up Ash's 2 battles against Wulfric in this ranking was because I think this rematch is not just one of the best gym battles ever, but one of the best battles ever in general. For so many reasons, it's just so good. First of all, both trainers come into this rematch using completely different strategies. I mean, Bergmite and Pikachu were not even in the last battle, so it's a completely fresh matchup. Once Avalugg gets in on the action, Ash starts to struggle once again. With that said, if I had to pick out one flaw in this match, it would be how Avalugg gets KO'd relatively easily given just how strong it was in the first battle. And I mean, I guess we can attribute that to the lack of hail, so Avalugg can't restore HP thanks to Ice Body this time, and Ash's Pokemon were just stronger than they were 2 episodes ago. But yeah, I still think it was kind of disappointing how Avalugg went down so easily after it swept Ash's entire team last time. And really, what was Wulfric thinking sending out Avalugg before Abomasnow? I mean, he doesn't stand a chance if Abomasnow is his last Pokemon, right? Hawlucha defeated it without much trouble in the first match, so I'm almost surprised that Ash didn't just use Hawlucha again to get another easy W. Even still, Greninja looked well on its way to victory. This was 1 episode after these 2 reaffirmed their bond, and the first time that they battled together using the perfected Ash-Greninja transformation. This gives off heavy Infernape Blaze vibes. Ash's ace Pokemon masters their special technique just in time for the final gym battle of the series. But unlike Ash vs Volkner, which ended almost immediately after Infernape activated Blaze, this battle was far from over, even with Ash-Greninja in full effect. I think this is at least the 3rd time I've told the story on YouTube, but it never gets old for me. I was not watching XY week to week at this point, or else I would have seen the Japanese title of this episode and known exactly what was going to happen. Instead, I was binge watching the English dub of XY years after the fact when I first saw this gym battle, and man, it was intense. I was loving the back and forth action, but it looked like Ash-Greninja had this just about wrapped up. But then Wulfric pulls out a Keystone. What? Oh my god, I did not see that coming. I had no idea that Mega Abomasnow was coming, and I love nothing more than seeing a surprise twist like this one. And then to have several minutes of intense battling once both Pokemon had assumed their final forms, yeah, this is just the best. Best Kalos gym battle, no doubt about it for me. An already great battle elevated by a twist that good just puts this one on another level. I get chills watching this every time when Wulfric Mega evolves his Abomasnow, and no, I did not just say chills because it's cold in the Snowbell Gym, alright? Oh, and one last thing, Wulfric is one of my favorite gym leaders ever in the anime. Not only did his battle style make both matches unique and interesting, but I love his personality, and even if he's just some old guy who's probably a little too overweight to be wearing a tank top, the way his jacket floats up every time he calls for a move is just the coolest thing ever. What do you think though? Which of Ash's Kalos gym battles is your favorite? What about your least favorite? I'm sure you have some thoughts about some of my rankings, so get in on the conversation down in the comments. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.